Welcome back, Driving Anger. Let me apologize for the color on this footage. I installed a new camera system in the car. I mean, it does have the PDR system that came from the factory, but I installed my own front and rear camera because it has a wider field of view. And yes, rookie mistake. I left. There's a blue protective film or piece of tape that was over the lens. I remember removing it from the rear camera. I assumed that I removed it from the front camera also. But it wasn't until after I record this video and I got home and started looking at it, I was trying to figure out, well, what's this blue tint, right? And it was an overcast day. It was in March 5th at Eagle Canyon Raceway. It was an overcast day, and so I was thinking, well, maybe the infrared feature on the camera, because it was overcast, was kind of filming in infrared, I guess, like for nighttime type filming. So I didn't think much of it until I checked again and realized that the blue film was on the camera. So please excuse that. But this was my first track session in my ZLE, my Camaro ZL1 1LE, which of course I don't have anymore. And sitting right seat was my coach, Louis Alexander, phenomenal instructor with Apex Driving Academy. In fact, he has his own academy where he teaches, he coaches at these HPD events, HPDE private sessions, private lessons. He has all of that as well. I'm going to link one of his videos that he filmed of me. He was following me in his car at Crescent Motorsport Ranch. I will film that. I will link it to this video. So if anybody out there was looking for private coaching to find pace, to go quicker, to learn the nuances of driving fast on track, he's definitely one of the best out there doing this. But anyway, this was my first session. And he's sitting next to me and he's giving me all the pointers. I've never driven in anger on this track in my own car. In the past, I have driven a few, I drive exotic at Crescent Motorsport Ranch. I went out there a few times and drive around the track with a car, but because of the liability, you can't drive it on the level that you would want to, because the moment I started getting quicker with that car, they told me I can't come back there no more, that I need to take my own over to the main track and drive it there. So anyway, this is my first session in the ZLE, and most of the day was learning the track, understanding some of the things that I didn't quite know yet, threshold braking, finding the correct line through the corners, hitting the right apexes, tracking out, carrying the speed and let the car naturally track out to the edge of the circuit. Trying to find as best as I can, or trying to learn as much as I can, the track itself, the different corners. They have several double apex corners here at Eagle Canyon Raceway. Learning when to sacrifice a corner to get a better exit for a straight. Right here, this is one of the double apex corners right here. The idea is to hold the steering wheel as steady as possible and try to take this 2 turns as one. Right here is a constant radius corner. Take a tight line through there and then let the steering unwind at the top. Yeah, the car get a little bit light at the top, so you have to be a little careful through there. But yeah, so this was back in March, and I thought since I had the footage, I might as well put it out there on my Driving Anger channel, and I'm going to use this as a reference. So when I do take the C8 to this same track, in August, later in August, I will be able to see how much I've learned and how different the cars behave on track. So here I'm following this guy up front in with the Porsche Cayman S, and at this point I'm not trying to stay with anybody. I'm just trying to learn my car, and I'm trying to learn the track itself. And with Lou's help throughout the day, I get quicker and quicker, and felt more and more comfortable with the car. I started hitting the apex, started turning in, carrying a decent amount of pace through the corners for a novice. This complex of right here, I should be much faster through here. There's really no braking here, just lift, hit the apex as much as you can. This here is a relatively late apex, right there where the cone is, and then go straight out, heavy braking here. I'm supposed to ride the inside curb right here to stay as tight as I can. No need to track out too much to the left here. Sacrifice this turn, stay tight all the way to the right to get a good exit, because what comes is a long straight, and you should be on the throttle midway through the corner to accelerate all the way out, track out, and carry all of that speed down to a very, very heavy braking area here. I think the maximum speed on that weekend that I got my ZLE up to was 127 miles per hour before the braking event, coming off of that long straight. So yeah, so it's a lot of fun. I didn't realize how fun it would be to track your own car. In fact, when I signed up and Lou met me for the first time, he said, "Welcome to your new addiction." And if we're gonna buy these kind of cars, the most fun, I think, in my opinion anyway, is getting it on track and experiencing or exploring the limits of those cars. At my level, I'm a novice, so I'm not getting nowhere near the limit of the car. So for me, I'm just trying to get to the limit of myself. You know what I'm saying? And if I could get out there, have fun, enjoy it, have discussions and conversation with other like-minded people who share the same enthusiasm for racing and driving on track in these high-performance driving events, then it's money well spent for me. You know, they say you only live once in this thing, and so I want to start living, you know, and experiencing my best life, and this is just what I do. Anyway, that day it didn't start off well. When I first got to the complex, I almost dropped my car off a cliff. There was a little, well, not a cliff, but a little bit of an incline, and I pulled up, and because of the distraction and the excitement of being there, I didn't realize that my car, I didn't pull the emergency brakes or put it in park. It was a 6-speed manual, and it rolled back, and luckily the bottom of it bottomed itself out, or else it would have fell over the cliff. I mean, maybe a few feet drop, which would have definitely totaled the car. But anyway, aside from that, I still was able to get a very, very, very good experience here at ECR. So this is what this is, just footage of me for the very first time driving my ZLE in anger at Eagle Canyon Raceway. This was Chin Track. It was a Chin Track event, and Chin travels across the country. They go to some of my favorite tracks that I have not yet been able to drive a real car on, like Road Atlanta. Ooh, I can't wait to get an opportunity to drive at Road Atlanta. They have big speed on that track as well, that long straight leading that back straight that goes, yeah, you could get up to a serious amount of speed at Road Atlanta. That first corner is a relatively fast corner that goes up a hill, a little bit of a hill, and then the first left-right chicane type is almost blind. I'm looking forward to Road Atlanta. They also go to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin at Road America, which is another very fast track, massive speeds, and they have high speed corners, slow speed corners, medium speed corners, high speed straights at Road America. They also go to the Glen, Watkins Glen in New York State, and in the simulator, I do some iRacing simulation as well. And in the simulator, I drive an LMP2 car, and the Glen is one of my favorite tracks. For whatever reason, I feel so comfortable on that track in the simulator that I attack it more so than I do any other track. I have no idea why the Glen is so much and so enjoyable for me in the simulator. They also go to Sebring in Florida, which is one of those tracks that I also like. I want to have a chance one day to drive those things for real, in real life. They go to Summit Point in West Virginia. Not a big favorite of mine, but it's a relatively, it's a short track, but it's a little bit complex. Not complex, but it has some interesting things. Straights and corners. Very tricky in some areas. I drive that also on the simulator. Where else? I think they go also to not Watkins Glen, but Laguna Seca in California. I think they also go to Sonoma. And of course here at ECR, they go to ECR because I was there with them for this HPDE, high performance driving event. And so yeah, so there is just so much little bits, that when you drive in the sim, it's one thing. I like the sim because I learned the track. I know the track before I even get there. This one, ECR, they don't have it in the sim, so I don't know it. So this session here was familiarization with the actual track layout itself. And like I said earlier, the nuances of the different corners. You have, like I said, double apex corners. You have increasing radius corners, decreasing radius corners, hairpins. Those kind of corners. I guess a hairpin would be a constant radius corner. So every one of those corners and what follows determines how you drive the corner. Right? If a long straight follows a specific corner, the key is to make sure you get a good exit, because whatever gains you have in terms of lap time, you will carry it all the way down the long straight. So if a long straight comes afterwards, one of the trick is maybe you might want to brake a little bit earlier going into the corner that leads down to the long straight, so you could get a good entry, carry the speed across the apex, track out full throttle so you can carry whatever gains, like I said, you've earned all the way down the straight. If you lose time, you're going to carry that all the way down the straight. If you gain time, you're going to carry that all the way down the straight. So sometimes it's necessary to sacrifice one corner because the gain on the other side is more important than trying to get as much time as you can through the one corner that you're sacrificing. And these are things that I learned through sim racing, and also learned with Lou when he was coaching me in my first real-time track event. Another thing in the sim, you can't, you wreck the car in the sim, it's all right, you just go back in the pits, get another one. In real, you wreck the car and it's over. So a lot of times, some of the things that I learn in the sim, I'm not driving as hard in the real car as I am in the sim, right? Because, of course, you hit something here in a real car, it hurts. In the sim, it doesn't, not so much. But the experience in the sim translate to the inputs that you do in the car. Because a few times I almost lost the car, maybe going in too hot in the corner, and instinctively I was able to do opposite lock or correct or trail brake or whatever it is to try to gather the car back up. And those are all things that I learned from my experience in the sim. So one of the interesting thing on this particular day, the fella in the Porsche, for whatever reason, whenever we were on track, we were close together for a good chunk of the day. And I realized in the area where he should be quicker, I was able to hang with him in the twisty bits, right, in the corners and stuff. And Lou even mentioned that. He said, you shouldn't be able to stay with him. Well, not shouldn't be able to. He was saying that he should be quicker than you through these areas here, but you were able to hang with him through some of those areas, and I was quite proud of that, considering it was my very, very first time on track. I'm not sure if it was his first time as well or not, but for me, it was definitely my first time, and so it was something to feel good about. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know if anyone of you guys are interested in this kind of content, but yeah, I just want to share some of my experiences on track with you, with the channel. My goal is obviously to grow the channel and to add more and more content as I continue to modify the C8, as I continue to track the C8, as I continue to enjoy this hobby. If there's anything you guys want to see or want to hear about, leave a comment, and I'll be glad to share what I know, and if there are things advice that you have to give me, please leave those as well, because I'll be happy to hear those as well. No ego here, just trying to have a good day, trying to be the best version of myself each day. Not perfect, just doing my best. Also note that the miles per hour, the speed, and the GPS with this camera wasn't properly synced up. So in some areas the speed is really not accurate. So I wouldn't pay much attention to that at all. And I have another video coming of the other drivers on track where I took some footage. I love the sound and the noise and the atmosphere and the energy of being out there on track with other men and women who have the same passion or similar passion, and they're out there driving in anger and really having a good time and having fun and challenging themselves, having conversations, laughing. That's what it's all about for me, and it seems as though a lot of the people share the same enjoyment. There's also lap attack or time attack, where they have certain guys at different levels where they chasing time. I think there are prizes at the end, trophies. I don't know if there is a cash prize, but I'm not at that level yet. I'm still novice level, still learning how to drive these tracks in a real car, still learning how to find the best within myself and then translate that to the car. Maybe in time I will get fast enough or quick enough and consistent enough on track where I could perhaps participate in those time attack or lap attack events. But for now, the HPDE is more than enough for me to satisfy the need for speed and scratch that driving anger itch every chance I get. See, got the car a little bit off balance through there. A few times I kind of overdrive or got a little over the limit. Anyway, March 2022, Eagle Canyon Raceway, driving anger, first track session, just chronicling my experience there. Anyway, please share, like, and subscribe to this channel. Definitely leave your comments. The YouTube algorithm, as you all know, is such that when you like and you share the videos, it becomes more popular and gets more views, which hopefully can bring me more subscribers. And more subscribers means a good thing, because at some point, with enough subscribers, the channel can get monetized, and at that point I can use some of that funds to get upgrades, get other things for the car that I can share with the community as a whole. So anyway, that's my goal, and I'm sharing it with you guys, and I'm being the best version of myself that I can be. Enjoy the last few minutes of this ECR on track session.